You're not a raggedy business owner and you are done with the side hustle mode. Legitimacy builds confidence. So let's get your business certifiable and licensed and validated and legit. What's up, y'all? This is your girl Butterfly Jones, and it is time for episode 3. We are going to get legal without fear. Today, we're going to be talking about the business basics, including business licenses, getting registered for your EIN, a little bit of information about, um, LLC. I'm human, okay? About LLCs and corporations, and also different things that are required for you to pop up and prosper at these different pop up businesses and maybe even open a store if that's the goal. But first, have you liked my channel and have you subscribed to it? Please go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel and also share it with anybody that you know who may want to pop up and prosper with their own business. When I first started my company, Butterfly Jones LLC, it did not take much for it to become legal. I filed my paperwork with Swift Filing. That's not a promotion. That's just what I did. Swift Filing took care of all the different paperworks I had to do to become an LLC, and all I literally had to do was feed it some information and pay the different fees that are associated with it. If you want to do it, you can go ahead and do it for free, but I didn't have time or the capacity because at the time that I opened my business, I had left my full-time job that I had for 12 years from stress and anxiety and depression, and I really needed a change in my life. I definitely needed to move on from that time in my life and move on quickly. And so that's why I had a company help me file the paperwork. Could you ask me how to do it today? No, I still don't know how to file the legitimate paperwork, but I did hire somebody, and that you can do also. There's absolutely nothing wrong with hiring a company to take care of your legal matters. I did go ahead and file for the EIN, which Swift Filing also did, but that's very easy. All you have to do is register for it. And as far as businesses, business licenses, you don't always need to have a business license depending on where you live. So, what I highly suggest you do instead of wasting time and money is check your city ordinances and see if you need a business license to run your business. Now, the seller's permit is very important. The seller's permit you need per state, and I'm pretty sure that every state requires a seller's permit if you're planning on selling. Make sure that you always carry your seller's permit on hand just in case the organizers of the pop ups require to have it. And also, if there's any roaming people who are trying to see if you're legit, you just have it. The best way to do it is probably take a picture of it in your phone. Also, the seller's permit helps you buy wholesale items. Most companies nowadays, especially with these taxes and tariffs and things, they want to make sure that they have their end clear. So, what they want you to do is they want you to send a photocopy of a seller's permit, which is also a wholesale license, and you can buy it tax free. That'll save you money. The last thing that you want to do is sit up there and pay taxes for the items that you're going to sell and then pay taxes again for the items sold. It's double dipping. And finally, after you get your business up and running with the LLC or the S corporation, then what you want to do is go ahead and take all that paperwork to the bank and open yourself a separate bank account. A separate bank account is so important so you won't intermingle and mix up your funds. It's the perfect opportunity to pay the due taxes to the federals and the states, as well as not dipping into your personal stack. Also, what you want to do is make sure that you're paying yourself as a business owner out of the money that you earned. And a great way to document those changes are through your business account and transfer into your personal account. My business account and my personal account is with the same bank, so it's really easy just to plug in the information and transfer it over. Speaking of transfer it over, have you seen these earrings? That's me. My mother made these. One didn't have nothing to do with the other, did it? No, it didn't. Anyway, if you like earrings like this, she does custom earrings. And then also, she sells earrings like this on her website. It's www.deborahsearart.com. And you could check the link in the bio. Another thing that you want to make sure that you have is business insurance. You can Google business insurance or small business insurance, handmade insurance, and you could take your pick. I use a business called Handmade Insurance where because I make my products. And so that one is very reasonable and the limit of coverage is like $3 million. And it's only around $300 a year. You're not going to break your pocket getting insurance, but many different places that you do vend will be covered. All you have to do is add them as part of the covered people. Okay. Most pop-up people or organizers, they want to make sure that you have your own personal insurance because it brings the cost of the event down. If the organizers have to buy insurance for you, it's going to drive it up. Usually, if they've already bought insurance for the events, you don't need to have your own personal coverage. However, the price will be higher. And then some organizers do not require anyone to have their insurance at all, but then they're also not going to be held liable for theft or damage to your products. So cover all your bases and just make sure that you have your own business insurance. Check your state's laws. California has an $800 LLC tax, but I think Wyoming has like a $70 one. So, as you can see, that's a huge gap, and you have to pay it yearly in order to keep your LLC or your corporation status current. What can happen if you don't? All coverage is gone. For example, a LLC helps cover liability, but it's limited. Okay. It's a limited liability company. And that means if anybody tries to sue you for any reason, they can only take your business assets if they win and not your personal assets. So you're covered. I don't know exactly what the bankruptcy part is, but I also want to say that your financial status is covered. If for any reason you ever need to go bankrupt, it's not going to affect your personal belongings. So that is very important when it comes to choosing what type of corporation that you want. Do you have to do any of these things in order to run a business? No. Short answer, no. Honest answer, no. Is it wise? No. Okay. You always want to make sure that all this hard work that you're putting into your business is covered legally. These people, these feds, the state do not play about their money. It's all a numbers game, okay? And so you also want to make sure that your items are covered, that your person is covered with the insurance that I was telling you about, and also that you're just legit. You deserve to be a legitimate business, how hard you put in work, okay? Yeah, it's easy to charge somebody something and then slide it in your personal account and stuff like that. But after a while, that gets tired. What if you start accumulating so much debt that you can't cover it anymore and now you have to go into bankruptcy? Well, guess what they're going to grab? Is your belongings. They're going to go for your house. They're going to go for your car. They're going to go for any assets that they can get and get monetary money from. So it is always best to go the legal route and also so you can have that coverage of the LLC or the S corporation so that they can't touch your personal belongings. So when I first opened my business, it was in 2018, but the side hustle was from 2006. I used all my personal money to fund whenever I did an item or made an item to sell, I would put it back in the personal fund. And it just did not seem like I had much going. Also, when it came down to taxes, back then I was able to write things off as a hobby. Well, I'm at the grown woman stage where I definitely want to have a business. So in 2018, when I opened my storefront and went full time, I definitely legitimized everything, crossed the T's, dot the I's, opened up the business checking account, and now it's been very beneficial like that. So I always highly suggest going the legal route. So you can say, yes, I'm an LLC, or yes, I'm an S corp. I'm illegal. This ain't no hobby. This ain't no side hustle. Okay. We doing big things in these streets. You know what I'm saying? For real. But it's just important. There are also instances, if you're traveling to other cities, that the cities require the businesses to buy temporary business permits in their area. What a hassle. But it's part of business. And they do have inspectors walk around to make sure that you've done it. Okay. Most organizers that I've worked with, if that's the case, they will file it for you, but you have to pay the upcharge on your booth. And also, if you already have a business license in that area that the pop up will be in, for example, Burbank hosts the Winter Wine Walk, which is one of my favorite events. Okay. During the Burbank Winter Wine Walk, I needed to get a Burbank business license. However, the event coordinators just made you pay the extra fee and they got it for you. Well, that's easy. I'll take that. But if I have to like fill out my own paperwork, it may deter me from wanting to do that event, and I ain't doing it. I'm just not going to do that and pay extra on top of what I'm already paying. I could easily find a local event and probably make the same amount of money if I'm a honey. But once again, that's all up to you and what you want to do with your business and the T's that you want to cross and the I's that you want to dot. And if you haven't figured it out already, I have a book to go with these series that you can print out at home. It's called Pop Up and Prosper, and it's a guide to help you build a business that will make you print money. You want to make it seem like it's counterfeit how much money you're getting, okay? We're legal. We don't do counterfeit, okay? It's just a book title. Don't get your drawers in a bunch, okay? I'm just saying. But anyway, you can find you could find the ebook at butterflyjones.com. That's BUTTAFLYJONEZ.com. Thank you for tuning in to this episode 3 of Pop Up and Prosper. And make sure that you check out episode 1, 2, and 4. Bye.